Yo, what up? What's poppin'? Back at it again with another video for y'all, and this is another video that's sports related. And as I stated before, I don't really watch sports the way that I used to. I usually only pay attention to it if my favorite team is playing. And yeah, my favorite team, North Carolina, they ended up losing in the bowl game 30-10. I mean, East Carolina is my all-time favorite. I love East Carolina. I like North Carolina, and I also had looked at the game between NC State and Kansas State, and NC State lost 28-19 in their bowl game. I think they came up with some new bowls this year too, like the Pop Tarts Bowl. See, that's the thing about it in college football. With a lot of these bowl games, they be having these companies that be sponsoring these bowl games in college football. But I got a question for y'all, and this is a video that's mainly in regards to all football. It doesn't make a difference if it's high school, college, pro football. Even when it comes down to the youth, Pop Warner, recreational, middle school. I just got a question. Is CTE still an issue in football? And yeah, my former football players, I mean, I used to play football myself. Like, I know a lot of y'all are probably familiar with this if you ever saw the movie Concussion. But is CTE still an issue in football? CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, is it still an issue in football? My fellow football fans, my fellow former football players, let's have a discussion about this. Chat with me, engage with me, drop me a comment in the comment section. But do y'all feel that CTE is still an issue in football? Again, let's have a discussion. I'm gonna give you my answer like I do as always. Now, when it comes down to the NFL, and not just the NFL, even in college football, and even in the USFL and the XFL, which it seems to me like it seems to me like when it comes down to football, the main league that football fans really care about is the NFL. Like, yeah, as a football fan yourself, you probably don't really pay very close attention to the USFL or the XFL. It's understandable. I mean, but yeah, even in the USFL and even in the XFL and even in the CFL, like, is CTE still an issue? Well, for them to make rule changes in football just about every year, I mean, yeah, football is a contact sport, and at the end of the day, when it comes down to football being a contact sport, there's not but so much that you can really do to try to make the game of football safer. But I mean, shout out to Dr. Bennett Omalu. I salute Dr. Bennett Omalu for what he did. If you ever seen the movie Concussion, because yeah, Dr. Bennett Omalu, he went to war with the NFL. He wanted to solve the problem. He wanted to solve the issue because there was like NFL football players, current and former NFL football players that were getting diagnosed with CTE after another. So to answer the question, is CTE still an issue in football? Unfortunately, yes, because they still be doing what they need to do every year to try to make the game of football more safer. They even be trying to put like certain like equipment inside of the helmets, inside of the football helmets to try to make the game of football safer because what causes CTE is head-on collision. When it comes down to like a football player getting hit in the head, or like their helmet collides with someone else's helmet, it causes their brain inside of their skull to go front, back, side. And it's not just in football. CTE is even an issue in combat sports. It's an issue in boxing, it's an issue in kickboxing, and it's an issue in mixed martial arts, even in combat sports. But it seems like it's mainly an issue in football though. It seems like, yeah, because like again, Dr. Bennett Omalu, he went to war with the NFL to try to make the game of football more safer, you know what I mean? But yeah, CTE unfortunately is still an issue in football because that's another thing too. Like I think there was even like some high school football players that had got CTE. Yeah, like they make rule changes to the game of football every single year to try to make the game of football safer, and all they're really trying to do is solve the problem. I mean, Dr. Bennett Omalu, all he wanted to do was solve the problem, but you see, with him like with him like trying to solve the problem and going to war with the NFL, like it put him through a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, Mike Webster was the first former NFL football player to be diagnosed with CTE. He played center for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Dr. Bennett Omalu, he was the first player to be diagnosed with CTE. And then after Mike Webster, there was other players that got diagnosed with CTE. But yeah, like, and that's another thing too. Even that player that used to play for the Patriots, for the New England Patriots, Aaron Hernandez. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, he ended up getting into some trouble, and he ended up getting into some trouble. But they said that like when he committed suicide, they said that he had like from what I had saw, from what I heard, I heard something that like they said that he had stage 3 CTE. See, you know what I mean? Yeah, but it seems like CTE is still an issue in football, and they're still coming up with ways to try to make the game of football safer. And I'm pretty sure like a lot of you fans out there, I'm pretty sure like a good bit of you, or maybe some of you, probably don't really enjoy looking at football the way you used to because of the way the game is now, of how it seems like they don't even really be playing all that aggressive. Yeah, see, like, they just want to solve the problem because they trying to stop like more and more players from getting CTE. But yeah, again, my fellow football fans, my fellow football fans, my fellow NFL football fans, my fellow former high school football players, my fellow former college football players. Let's chat. Let's have a discussion about this. Do you feel that CTE is still an issue in football? And do you feel that with them trying to make rule changes to the game of football every single year, do you feel that they should keep doing it? Or do you feel like they should just leave it alone and let the game take care of itself? And that's another thing too. Like I just said, football is a contact sport. I know that for a fact. I used to play football myself. But at the same time, when it comes down to thinking of the logic of the situation, if there's like players getting diagnosed with CTE after another, something does need to be looked into. And that's what Dr. Bennett Omalu did. He looked into the problem, and he did everything in his power to try to come up with a solution because he wanted to solve the problem. But yeah, football's a contact sport, and that's another thing too. When it comes down to being a football player, being a defensive player, if you injure somebody in football, should you like feel sorry for it? Should you apologize about it? No, no, not really, because at the end of the day, it's a contact sport. You know what I mean? That's what you're taught as a defensive player. It doesn't make a difference if you a defensive tackle, a nose guard, a defensive end, a middle linebacker. You know what I mean? That's what you're taught, to be aggressive, to hit as hard as you can, get meanness, be mean. Don't be afraid that you're gonna hurt the guy's feelings or anything. Get mean. Now, me personally, in my days of playing football, I was an offensive player. I was an offensive lineman. I played offensive guard and offensive tackle, but other than that, I mean, unfortunately, CTE is still an issue in football. Don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on my channel, comment, share, like the video. And again, my new song, All Night Long, it's on my YouTube channel and it's also on my SoundCloud. You can follow me on SoundCloud at Wally G. Let's run it up. Let's blow it up. Love y'all.